Welcome, boys and girls. Today's video is brought to you by the letters B and C. Now, what begins with B and C? Bone conduction. That's the technology baked into these. And what are they? Headphones which don't cover your ears so that while you're out biking or hiking, you can hear things like cars and coyotes coming dangerously close to you, both of which also start with the letter C, like the word cool. This is cool tech. The sound quality is actually quite impressive and the feature set solid, but it's not without some trade-offs. Let's get into it, boys and girls. Hey, if this video or any of the videos on this channel have helped you, please consider clicking all those thingies down there so you'll get notified when we upload the latest content and when we run one of our giveaways. We're giving away cool free stuff, y'all. Back in 2015, when Shokz was still calling themselves Aftershokz, I tried out a pair of their earbuds or headphones, and having used bone conduction technologies in my Milsim paintball days, let's just say I didn't have high expectations of their sound fidelity. After using them for a time though, I was highly impressed with what they were able to accomplish given the technology. Well, 7 years later, I'm back and checking out a new pair, under a new company name with some new tricks. These are the Shokz Open Run Pros. They aren't earbuds. Well, they don't go in your ears, and although they have a band like a pair of headphones, they neither go over your head or cover your ears. Instead, what you get is these two plates which pass vibrations through your cheekbones to the structures in your ears. I'll get into that more in a bit. Let's talk hardware and features first. These are Shokz flagship model with a flagship price and flagship features. When you unbox them, the first thing you'll notice is the hard-ish case they come in. My only concern here is that the material you store them in is going to get mucky after a time if you put them back wet. I haven't had that problem yet, and the material does wipe down pretty easily. They are IP55 water resistant, by the way. On the inside of the top of the case's lid, you'll find some elastic loop which holds your magnetic inductive charging cable. The buds case is molded to their shape. It has an insert in there that does just that. Taking them out of the case, they're light, 29 grams, which is a hair over an ounce. You can chalk that up to the premium titanium wraparound band and frame that's coated in what feels like a soft touch rubberized material. The left side of the buds is where you'll find the multi-function button. This is your music and phone calling control hub. Play, pause, skip tracks, answer an in phone call are all done from here, and it does a lot. So you'll definitely want to check out the user guide. For example, you can also use the multi-function button to invoke your phone's digital assistant. The right side is where you'll find most of the magic. The charge port is there, and just below that is the power pairing button and volume up and down control. And again, off to the user guide you go, because various combinations of pressing the volume buttons and the power button will get you responses from the unit like a battery status check, or allow you to switch between EQ modes or enable multi-point pairing. You'll also find the dual noise canceling mics on that bud. And how do they sound? Let's take a listen. So I'm out here in a busy street here in sunny Southern California, testing out Shokz new Open Run Pro. This is of course a microphone test, so you can hear how well these dual noise canceling microphones on the earbud. There's only one set of them on the right earbud. The left earbud is where the multi-touch button is, but the right earbud here is where your dual canceling microphones are. So, how do they sound? Would you be comfortable using these out in a busy urban street like I am sitting on right here? So now that you've heard those mics and what it will be like for people to hear you, let's go over what it will be like for you to hear your music. This is the whole purpose and point of the Open Run Pros. They're open, but that comes at a small cost. sitting on your cheekbones, passing vibrations to your ears, just like with the first pair I tested all those years ago. These are impressive. Listening through my playlists of streamed and locally stored music, I wasn't disappointed. The vocals on Paul Simon's Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes were clear and robust. Bass from my hip-hop tracks had some presence, but due to the physics of bone conduction, you should know that it won't be the same as a pair of earbuds which go into your ear canals. These won't have the same rumble, though the transducers are quite energetic. They're active on bass-heavy tracks. I still don't know quite how I feel about that. Listening to my Method Man Biscuits track, the note which becomes apparent is that if you're a bass connoisseur, there are other headphone options, earbud options, which may be better suited to your listening habits. But for jazz, like Art Blakey's Moanin', the Open Run Pros are a delight. Acoustic music fares much better over bone conduction. Curtis Mayfield and Isaac Hayes' orchestrations hit like shaft. See what I did there? And you should know that these get loud. I know the whole point of wearing them is that you can be aware of your surroundings, but I found that if I cranked them up, they were loud enough so that I couldn't make out what someone was saying when talking to me. I could hear that they were talking, it just wasn't intelligible. Now, at those same volume levels, I could hear cars whizzing by while out in these streets. But someone running up behind me, nope. But again, that's with them cranked up. When listening at normal levels, safe levels for extended periods, I could indeed make out conversations and other details of my surroundings which might fight with the louder setting. Out for my stair runs and walks, the Open Run Pro's wraparound design was never an issue and never felt like it bounced around on my head. Laying down for Pilates or hitting the bench for bench presses is another matter. You're going to have to adjust a bit if the band sits loosely around the back of your head like it does on old Yoda here. For those like me with freakishly large dome pieces, that don't fit hats, it isn't as much a problem, though laying down for the bench did require a bit of repositioning. Now, that flagship feature set I mentioned earlier made these earbuds a joy to test. Unlike most Bluetooth headsets and earbuds, they have solid multi-point functionality. I had the Open Run Pros connected to an iPhone and Note 20 Ultra simultaneously, and using either phone interchangeably was smooth. You can connect to 2 devices at a time using those power and volume button combos or through the app. Let's get into that while we're at it. The Shokz app is simple and easy to use. The Settings tab is where you'll find that multi-point pairing option, but in addition to that, you get 2 EQ modes, one for music and the other tailored towards listening to things like podcasts and audiobooks. I've talked about the flagship features, and one which is always a standout is, in this case, Audrey, who gives you voice prompts. That's what they call her in the user guide. The app allows you to choose which language Audrey speaks, though that's limited to English, Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. The user guide doesn't specify Mandarin or Cantonese or any other dialect. There's an option to change the language the app uses, and then below that is where you'll access your firmware updates. Rounding out the experience is battery life. 10 hours is what Shokz says you'll get when playing at standard volume, whatever that is. But listening at the volume I did, which was pretty low, I was pretty close to that. Although with multi-point activated and connected to 2 devices, I saw a bit over 8 hours. The device charges quick though, and it's smart. If the contacts are wet, the LED indicator will flash red and blue and the headphones will emit a beep. Go ahead and remove the cable, dry everything off, and get back to charging if that happens. And that rapid charging, 5 minutes gets you up to 1.5 hours battery life. You won't really be able to gauge that because Audrey only tells you 4 battery statuses: battery high, battery medium, battery low, and charge me. But if you look at your phone's Bluetooth settings, you'll of course be able to see how much battery is left, though I'd love to have a widget show up in my notification pull down on Android, which shows me battery status like some buds do. Also, it should be noted that these buds don't have an auto power off, so you'll have to remember to shut them down between uses. The battery is Herculean though and does offer quite a bit of standby time, up to 10 days. Frankly, I assumed they had auto off week 1 and didn't turn them off, but never missed a beat, having plenty of juice for when I needed to use them. Overall, I think that for those looking for an outdoor solution or one to wear on the floor at work on a job where you need to have your ears unobstructed, but you still want to have some tunes to get you through your workday, these are an excellent option and I can highly recommend them. And well, for the gym or any other activity, if you're a person who prizes situational awareness above all, give these a go. Hey, these are the Shokz Open Run Pros. I'm Tshaka Armstrong. Don't take it lightly that you spent your time here watching with us. If you have any question about the Open Run Pros that I didn't answer, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I'll get them. You know I love chatting with you all. I will catch you on the next video.